Mother asked to stay in our wedding suite. LGBT couple. My 35 female bride and I, 41 female, planned an elopement in Vegas initially, but of course everyone wanted to come. So we paid to have a micro wedding, under 10 people, for our most special guests to come. Everyone is responsible for their own rooms, arrangements, flights, etc. We posted on our website, which no one has read. We planned a week out in Vegas, the first few days being just for me and my future wife. However, my dear mother doesn't want to fly out to Vegas just for a wedding. She's never been to Vegas, so she wants to make a whole trip out of it. To me, this is not a family trip. Although my family will be there, it is a trip for me and my wife. It is our wedding, after all. A few moments ago, my mother suggested to stay with us in our hotel suite for the first few nights, the three of us. I shot that idea down pretty hard and explained there won't be enough room. It's a wedding suite, so one king bed, one thin couch. I was definitely surprised she had the wherewithal to even. Weather has been bad for my family and my bride's family in their respective cities. Last night, my mother called to tell me she may not make it for a few days before the wedding. She's thinking of canceling her hotel room for those 3 days because she doesn't want to lose her money. For me, that's not a huge loss. We wanted the time beforehand together anyway. I continue listening and waiting for her to ask if she can stay in our room. Mom, so if I cancel my hotel room but end up going out that day anyway, can I stay with you in your room? Me. Mom, there's only one bed and the couch is way too thin. Mom, I'll sleep on the floor. Me. Mom, no, it's not appropriate to be in my wedding suite during the wedding week. Mom, I don't understand. You guys live together. What's the difference? Me. It's not appropriate. Mom, you have made it very clear that you don't want me there those days before the wedding. That part is kind of true. We wanted to be alone, but she wanted to come sooner. Me. Mom, you know I've already bought tickets to events that include you, and we have brunch plans on this day as well. I'd rather you be safe, and if you have to fly out a couple of days later, then that's fine. Mom, I'm worried I'm going to miss your wedding, and then you'll be mad I missed your wedding, because she told me 20 years ago that she wouldn't attend my wedding if I married a woman. She's come a long way since then, and she loves my partner. I never thought my own mother would be so enmeshed with me that she would suggest to stay in my room with me. Why? I don't even understand why you would want to stay with your daughter and her new wife in her wedding suite. I can't believe I had to tell the woman who raised me, the woman who taught me manners and respect. I can't believe I had to explain to her why she can't stay in my room with me and my partner. I feel so guilty, probably because I've been told to feel guilty as a child, and I know I'm making the right decision. Never expected my own mother to be a monster-in-law.
Monster-in-law is confused of why they don't want her in her hotel suite.
She's like, I'm confused. You guys live together anyways. What's the difference?
Yeah, why don't you want me sleeping on your floor?
What the hell, Mom? Okay, so there's an update that comes 2 weeks later. Well, I'm sure you are all wondering how the wedding went and where my mom slept. I feel my story has taken a sad turn. My relationship with my mother is worse than I thought. I'll get to the story now.
Aw.
We both arrived at the airport around the same time from our different flights. My mom had a pain that affected her walking. Not great, since we're going to be walking around in Vegas. I offer Advil multiple times and she rejects it. I believe she may have taken it one time from me. We arrive at her hotel first. I assume she never canceled her reservation, lol, because she had a reservation. We dropped our bags at her room and got on with our plans. Later that night, my wife and I checked into our suite, alone. The first fight with my mom was the next day in my suite. She had interrupted me several times that day, one of our many problems, then pointed out how I interrupted her. At one point, I tried to once again begin my story. She interrupts me and I exasperate. Do you know how many times I've tried to tell a story today and you've interrupted me? Then I said, do you do this to everyone or is it just me? As she put her middle finger in my face, screaming at me, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. My wife had to intervene and say, whoa, that was not necessary. My wife later told me she almost threw her out of our room. I stuck to my I statements, and I said, when you cut me off, it makes me feel like what I'm saying isn't important. I should have addressed the fuck yous, but it was too heated at the time. I tried to de-escalate and will address this at a later time. At this point, I'm realizing my mother is immature, emotionally immature. Whatever feelings she's feeling when I confront her, genuinely by the way, asking her if she truly does this to everyone or just me. She can't handle it and freaks out on me like a high schooler. It's sad. I'm devastated, actually. To have this insight on my wedding getaway caused me a lot of pain. I've looked for answers for a long time. I've thought maybe she's narcissistic. My therapist mentioned possible bipolar disorder, but I'm looking into emotional immaturity at the moment. I've learned it can coincide with narcissism or bipolar disorder, so I can't necessarily write those off. Then the night after that, the rest of the party starts to arrive. My wife's best friend arrives very late and has a reservation in our hotel. She called my wife to let her know her room isn't ready and they're looking for a room for her. My mother pipes in. She didn't call? OP, she didn't call in advance to let them know? I realized very quickly this sounds like she's putting the responsibility on me, that the friend's problem is now suddenly my problem. Mom, I don't know if she called in advance. She's responsible for her own travel and her own hotel room, I say. She responds, well, are you going to let her stay in your hotel room if she doesn't get a room? I reply, no, she's not staying in my room. There are plenty of hotel rooms in Vegas. She will get a room tonight. She's a big girl, Mom. That's fucked up, she says. A good friend of mine also came on the trip with her new partner. Stayed in a different hotel, not a problem. She didn't arrive to my hotel suite until we were about to be picked up from the limo. She gets along with my mom very well. The minute we were in the limo, the two of them were attached at the hip, and I feel I barely spoke to my friend. I have video and pictures specifically of them ignoring everyone else in the limo and speaking only to each other. I took them because I felt like the party was kind of separated in the limo. The wedding went off without a hitch. It was absolutely beautiful, and I was so incredibly happy. Crying tears of joy, I hope, and not tears of how much pain I was in from the emotional week I had already. The next morning, my friend once again ignored me to have breakfast with her partner. We discussed in advance the time everyone was getting together, as she scheduled her reservation 30 minutes before. She sat at a different table and ate alone with her partner. We got a table next to her with 2 extra chairs, but she did not join us. She later asked my wife if I'm upset, and my wife responds, she thought she'd spend a little more time with you on the trip. I try to let the feeling go. I'm just devastated by the people I'm allowing in my life at the moment. I am really considering reevaluating these relationships. Later in my hotel that night, I receive a text from my good friend saying that she's taking off a little early from the trip, blames it on work. I don't really know why she even came, just for the vacation, I guess. I barely said 2 words to her in the 5 hours I saw her. Sad, sad, sad. I am so sad about this, about all of this. Other than the drama, I really enjoyed the trip. I had a lovely time with my wife and very happy with our hair and makeup, our vendors, and our ceremony. It was all so beautiful, and I am thankful they came to see us get married. I definitely had some insecurities before going on this trip, and it's a reality I have issues with some people in my life. I am currently in therapy and had a discussion with my therapist about this. I'm certainly not going no contact or ghosting anyone after this. But discussions need to be had, and therapy needs to continue. Books need to be read, and practice needs to be put in place. All I can do is commit myself to a healthy life in all ways, practice radical acceptance. If anyone has any advice on how to let go of the pain, accepting it, or trying to be less emotional about it all, I'm open ears. Thanks for listening. Relationships are hard, especially with emotional, immature people.
Well, goddamn.
Am I the asshole for not eating the meal my friend's husband made? I, 30 female, was at my best friend's, 30 female, house the other day, just hanging out at her kitchen table and telling her I was feeling pretty hungry and asking if she'd like to go down to the street to a place that makes amazing salads. They have a house salad with a specialty sauce I was craving, and I mentioned that to her. She said sure, but to wait a while because she needed to get some chores done first. Meanwhile, her husband, 34 male, was chatting with us too, then turned around to the counter to make something. I assumed he was making himself lunch. He's never cooked for us before and didn't say he was making us anything. I saw him chopping up veggies and tearing up chicken with his bare hands. He came out with a big salad bowl and said we didn't have to go to the place down the street. He said he made enough salad for everyone and bought a few bottles of their signature salad dressing that I was talking about earlier. Here's the problem. This guy is notorious for not washing his hands. My best friend is a nurse, and she's constantly complaining to me about how gross his hand-washing hygiene is. She's told me how he constantly gets sick because he never washes his hands. Whenever he travels, he always comes back with a bug of some sort, and my best friend says it's because of his lack of hand-washing, even after using the bathroom. I've also seen him wipe huge amounts of snot from his nose with his bare hands, wipe it on his jeans, and not wash his hands. And I know he didn't wash his hands before making the salad because I was in the room and I saw him preparing the food and thought to myself, yeah, I see what my friend means by him never washing his hands. He's making himself lunch and didn't run the tap once, not even to rinse the veggies. So I'm sitting there awkwardly, not sure how to blow this off without offending him. I make up some lame excuse about not being hungry anymore. It was hard to think of a good excuse that quickly. Plus, I'm not the quickest thinker when I'm hungry. He looks a little hurt, and I make up some lie about how I'm on my period, and that makes my hunger fluctuate. Not great, I know, but again, I was really put on the spot so quickly. My best friend was there when this all went down. She finished what she was doing, and we left to go to town. A few blocks down, I grab a burger. She notices, and she knows me well enough to know when I'm lying and says, "You really didn't want to just eat my husband's salad, huh?" I confessed and told her about the hand washing thing. She looked hurt and said she could tell from his expression that he was hurt by my rejection of his offer and that he clearly didn't buy my lie. I said, "I'm sorry, but with everyone getting the flu nowadays and having a new baby, I just don't want to risk it. My son is 3 months old and my husband was watching him that day." My best friend was still upset on her husband's behalf. Am I the asshole?
Yes and no.
Today I fucked up by pranking my wife. My wife has a history of startling/scaring me easily due to me being deaf in 1 year from tinnitus, which has drastically decreased my situational awareness. She finds it hilarious, and I've grown to tolerate it 'cause love and all. I decided my time for revenge has come. Cut to dinner time, about to boil a box of rigatoni pasta when the inspiration hits me from a video on social media I saw. I hide a piece of that rigatoni between my teeth and make my way into the living room where my wife was relaxing on the couch after a long day of being a nurse. "Hey, sweetheart, do you mind rubbing my neck? I feel I have a kink in it or something," I ask her. At this point, I can barely contain my excitement for this amazing prank as she happily begins massaging my neck for me. After 30 to 40 seconds, I then bite down hard on this piece of uncooked rigatoni, which released a sickening yet satisfying crunch sound. I give a little "ow" sound and immediately go limp, falling face first into the couch. Now, my wife is mostly a calm, non-emotional type person, but her visceral reaction of terror and worry and panic that came flooding out of her while she started to shake my limp body and began to check my vitals made me feel guilt I've never felt before. After only a short time, I give up on the ruse and show her it was just pasta. To say she was livid is an understatement. Been sleeping on the couch ever since.
Oh,
Worth it.
that's funny. That's a good prank. I gotta remember that prank. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
have you seen the TikToks?
No, but I know
No?
I always beg you for a massage sometimes.
Yeah.
Although I never get a neck massage. I don't know how well that would work out.
Yeah.
Wouldn't work out too well for me, I guess.
Top comment. My wife and I scare each other all the time too. I'm giggling so hard I woke her up. She asked what was so funny. I told her nothing because I'm doing this tonight.
Am I the asshole for asking my husband for comfort after my criminal brother tried to assault me? So I, 28 female, have a brother, 36 male. He's a piece of shit whose home is jail. He's done crimes since he was 15. I can't mention them here since it's graphic. My husband, 30 male, is the only person I've ever told about the things my brother has put me through. My brother got 15 years in jail and just got out a few weeks ago. He was trying to find me after he got out, and he did. He kicked down my door and tried to put his hands on me. My husband just stood there and watched. Later, he said it was because of shock. But my 2 dogs just pounced on my bro like never before, and I called the police to take him away. After the whole incident, I was crying because I was so scared, but my husband just stood there not doing anything. I got mad and yelled that I'm shaken by this whole thing, and he just stands there. Husband shouted back that he's also shaken by it and to let him process what just happened. Then he sat next to me and held me awkwardly, took his hands away and just stared. I got so angry that I yelled at him and left the house to cool off. When I got back, he wasn't there. He texted me saying I'm not considering his feelings about seeing his own brother-in-law touch his wife and that it is a feeling he can't explain. And I haven't responded yet. Am I the asshole? So top comment, I'm sorry your brother attacked you. He is the real asshole here. You're not wrong for wanting comfort by your husband. He also had a legitimate reaction from having a violent person burst into his house. The two of you need help from this traumatic event. I hope your brother goes back to prison for a long time.
Yeah,